about like helping out at home, right?
Mm.
It's so interesting. There are kids that super active, right? There are super active, hyperactive kids. And sometimes I think as parents and teachers, they don't know what to do with them. But I think it's really great. I tried something. I was like, let me give them some extra tasks of helping me. So
Yeah.
they think that they help me a lot by doing stuff, and they do help me. They are like
Mm.
super helpers, they help me, with, bring up the toys, maybe flashcards, but they're always busy. These hyper kids,
Yeah.
hyperactive.
Mm.
And, you basically they could basically be willing to help you out as at home, as in your class, or even like, if they go to sports, they would be very great. So I think that
Yeah.
instead of thinking of, oh my God, it's a trouble kid, we could try to think, okay, how could I use that trouble, which is
Yeah.
actually not at all, how could
Mm.
I use his own magic to like
Yeah.
apply it somewhere that they could be like using it in a right way rather than just like, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
give him phone or, just I cannot deal with him. Find a different approach.
Okay, so we're live. Hi everyone. Today it's me, Nicole, our holistic health coach, and today I'm here with my special friend Cami, and I'm super excited to have this podcast with her. And yeah, I'm gonna go right into it. Cami, let me hear more about you. Introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Cami. I would introduce myself as passionate speaker, energetic teacher, a life coach, and a great sister. That's how I would introduce myself. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. And from what I know about you, it sounds very right. Sounds very correct.
I believe so. That's what I think. Yep.
Yeah. I love that. I love when people like just describe themselves as positive things because it's easy that like the first thing we go to is either like what we work with or something else. And it's nice that you have these like positive aspects about yourself that you're highlighting. And yeah, I'm really glad to have you here today and I'm super excited because you always have so much nice things to share and I think that it could be super valuable for everyone else to hear.
That
So,
would be good. That would be good.
yeah.
If it.
Yeah. So to start this, I would love to hear just in general, what is going on in your life right now?
What is going on in my life right now?
Yeah.
It's a
That you want
great
to
question
highlight. That you want
that
to
I want to
highlight.
highlight.
Yes.
Okay. I think that I have been working on myself a lot recently,
Yeah.
and I noticed that it's so much important nowadays to spend time in solitude because when you spend time with a lot of people, sometimes your mind gets messed up and you're like, is it really what I want? So I
Mm.
think that solitude is something that I start to protect more. So like if there is like a day throughout the week, I'm like, this is my day and I'm gonna spend it on my own, like with my own thoughts, what I want to do. And it's been helping a lot, I would say. This is something that I'm recently working on for myself personally.
Yeah. I think that's great. I really love that because I think that we should have self-care days for ourselves more often because it's very easy for us to prioritize like everyone else and everything else we need to do. But I think for you to be able to show up as your best self, you also need to enhance and like bring forward that best self by taking care of yourself. So it's a great highlight. I love that. Is there anything recently that you've learned, anything new that you've learned through this journey?
Mm-hmm. About solitude at one part, something that I was working on is also like public speeches, something
Mm.
really that fascinates me. I
Yeah.
have no idea if you have heard about Toastmasters public speaking space. You can find it everywhere in the world, in every country, almost in every city. Just type down Toastmasters.org and you're gonna find the club where you could practice your public speaking skills. it's another thing that I was working on, and it's been a great journey so far, because I noticed that we are not taught how to present ourselves on the stage. And usually what it does to us holding a microphone is like, you're like, oh my God, what am I gonna say? You know, how people gonna think of me? And
Yeah.
that's, it scares you, you know, a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that platform, this Toastmaster clubs, present us amazing opportunity to challenge yourself, your confidence, how you speak. And I do believe it helps everybody like grow really, and challenge yourself, and perhaps working on your confidence. Yeah, something right now, that another thing that I was focusing on, I would say.
Yeah, I love that. I remember you telling me about that a while ago, that you started doing it and it was very new for you. And then I've like just heard you, and it seems like it's like from the beginning until now, it seems like you've had a lot of development in that area. But if someone else would feel like, I want to challenge myself and I want to just go out there and just, yeah, challenge themselves, what would your recommendation, like, do you have any like tips or recommendations for anyone thinking about it?
Would you say that it's going on stage, to try yourself on stage?
I guess I'm curious about both, like either going on stage or just in general, like challenging yourself to do something that may be out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. It's very interesting when you challenge yourself. That feels super uncomfortable. And you like
Mm,
sometimes feel awkward, and you would rather stay in that, you know, comfort
yeah.
zone, relaxed and all the thing. But the thing is, you lose time by time if you don't go out of your comfort zone. You start to lose your respect to yourself. And I think it's so much matter, because if
Yeah.
you really stop challenging yourself and going out comfort zone, then you start losing your respect to yourself. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, you know, it's not my thing. No, whatever. When you start saying like that, you also notice how other people start to, you know, treat you that way. Actually, you can't do that, you know, and you notice how people react, surround you, you know, surround you like different. It's absolutely different. But when you start to challenge yourself, you're like, oh, actually, it wasn't that bad. I can do that. You
Mm,
learn here, there a little bit. You know, you challenge, you grow, and then you're like, wow, I can do it. And you start to get more confident and confident, and really, it becomes part of you. And I
mm,
think this is very important. Like sometimes I feel so like I don't want to do that, but I'm like, hey, Cami, if you're not gonna do that, you're gonna lose respect. Like you have to do it. And I think
mm,
it's very important to set the deadline, by the way, the deadline, because if you're gonna like prolong it, it can take years. So now I try to put the deadline. Okay, this is before this date, I must try this out. If it doesn't work, yeah, whatever. But at least I try
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really great because from what I know about you, you seem like a person that always challenges yourself. You like, I don't know, from what I've seen and heard, you don't give up easily, and you try new stuff all the time. You inspired me a lot as well, like during our journey together. So I'm really curious, like this confidence that you have like grown so far, where would you say that like it started? When would you say it started?
This is good. It's a great question. Why? Because as growing up, like I had so much desire to try to be like, for example, for me personally on stage, but you know, no, but people wouldn't believe in me, like teachers, you know, no, it's not your thing. There were other people who would, they give the chance to. So I get basically lost in that.
Mm,
Everybody else was doing that, but not me. And I kind of give up on that. But I think when I start working with kids, I moved
mm,
to another country. I'm originally from Tatarstan. I'm Tatar. It's part of Russia. I moved to China. And it's so interesting to observe yourself when you change location, because it's
mm,
totally new. No one is putting your that labels on you, you know, of like you are this, you are that, you can't do this. Like even yourself, you are free. No one knows you. You are totally free. You can shape into whoever you want to be. That's so cool. This is amazing. And when I had a chance to do that, I started working with kids, and kids showed me what is real confidence is, because when they are 3 years old, no one is caring how they
Yeah.
look like, what they say. They are being themselves. And I was like, oh my God, guys, you really taught me so much. They think that I teach them, but actually
Mm.
they teach me. And that was something that I would be forever grateful for. Yeah,
Yeah.
so working with kids was something that definitely helped me to work on my confidence. And another
Mm.
thing is moving the place, moving the country. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I love to hear that, because about moving, the thing is that you leave your safe space. You leave every person that knows anything about you, any person that has any opinion or any kind of like knowledge about you, and you just enter this whole new world, and you can decide whoever you want to be. So you can just have like a fully clean slate and just build this whole new life for yourself. And I think that's super cool. And I'm always so I'm so like fascinated by people who actually take that step, and they just like decide that, you know what, I'm moving, I'm going to take this step, and I'm going to do that even if it feels scary, because I understand in the beginning everything is going to be new, like the move, like the language, the people, the culture, like everything is going to be new. But from what I've learned, we always figure it out, or we always find a way, like even if it feels super hard at the moment, like everything just like happens to work out in the end, which is super cool. So I love that you highlighted that. And I also love that you highlighted the thing with the kids, working with kids, because this is something I really wanted to bring up today. How long have you been working with kids so far?
It's been 7 years. 7 years, yeah, a little bit more than 7 years, yeah.
Yeah, well, what age do you work with mostly?
So I started with different ages. It was crazy. It was like from 1.5 till 16. It was
Oh,
so much different
wow.
range. So I got to work with different ages, and it was like mix. I was just
Mhm.
trying to understand the kids. And then I figured out my best favorite ones. It's from 1.5 till 6. So now I work with the kindergarten age kids.
Yeah,
And it's something that I really love because their energy is, you can't find that energy nowhere. Like you just
yeah,
can't find energy from anyone, because
yeah,
what they have, it's like so pure, so strong, so energetic. It's like they energize you. And I think everybody like must spend some time with kids, at least play, like for fun
yeah,
1 hour in the week, at least per month, just see them,
yeah.
and reflect.
Yeah, exactly. And also like hear how they think and how they see the world. It's so crazy their perspective on the world versus ours. That's like it's mind-blowing, and they, like you say, they teach us a lot. It's crazy.
Absolutely, because like there is like you're sitting like you're thinking about some problem, like you're really serious, and the kid comes up to you and like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, and I say the problem out just for fun, like I make
Yeah.
some faces, and I'm like, do understand that, even like, and the kid looks at me and says like some simple solution, and it's like, why you just don't do that? And I was like, oh, for real, you could just do that. Because like we complicate so much, so many things, but
Yeah.
for them it's super easy. They don't have this,
Mm.
rules. They don't have these laws, that
Yeah.
unnecessary. In their world, everything is possible. Everything is possible. And I think this is something we must remember, that everything is possible, and we
Yeah.
shouldn't like put a block
Yeah.
onto our beliefs,
Yeah.
dreams.
I love that you're saying that, because like I've noticed that too, the change of having a kid around you, and how they just manage to like always find solutions for stuff, because they don't have the same like backgrounds as we have yet. They don't have all the troubles of this and this and this, and like realizing that with this like clean slate in their mind, they can think so clearly. there's no there's no worries and stuff the same way. They don't overthink, like you said, they don't overthink anything, because for them, they haven't even realized what overthinking is yet. Like, they don't know what overthinking is. They just do. They're very impulsive. And that's kind of cool. Like, it teaches you as well that, like, of course you shouldn't always be impulsive, but to just take things lighter, and not everything is like a world ending like decision. Sometimes you can just take like this, like the first step, or some step, or like, I don't know, maybe this would be a thing that when you are like a crossroad, you should just ask a kid around you and see what they say and just follow that step. It would be so fun if adults did that. I don't know how that would like work out in the end, because kids can be very creative, but it would definitely be fun to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it adds some kind of humor into your life, because like you're really frustrated, you really don't know how to do in that situation, and they give a funny answer or really real great answer to your,
Yeah.
or even giving you a solution to your problem,
Yeah.
which is interesting, because or you could use that solution, or you can have fun and laugh out loud really crazily, because all of it just brings out the pressure and tension out of you. So
Mm.
it's a good way of dealing with some kind of problems.
Yeah. So, from someone like me who doesn't have kids yet, I have siblings but no kids, and I've never really been working with kids for longer than like 2 weeks. I'm really curious about, like, what is one of the biggest lessons you've learned about working with kids? This may be a hard question, so.
That is a hard question, but I think it's a question that, in general, whatever we like stumble upon in our lives, I think we should ask this question even throughout the day. Like, what is it that I learned today, you know? So I think it's
Mm,
a great question. One thing that comes to my mind first, it
mm,
would be yourself. Like, be yourself unapologetically,
mm,
with your mistakes, with your flaws, you know, with your dark sides, with your bright sides. Embrace it. Sometimes you might be like, why am I so arrogant? That's just part of you at this time of your life. That's fine. Perhaps you will learn something out of this, that you've been this, you know, and then you will transform into someone else. Because like we are changing throughout the life,
mm,
and that's so fine. Whoever you are, just it's like you're feeling with your true core. That's me, you know? Actually, that was me. And that felt
mm,
nice. Even it wasn't like the best. It wasn't maybe even good. It's okay. Just you accept it, and you like you can ask yourself, do I want to be this way? Do I enjoy being this way? Or you could change, you know, you could
yeah.
transform. It's up to you. So the first one is be yourself, be
Mm,
you unapologetically. This is the first one that I would say.
yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
really love that. I really love that. And I think that just like by being yourself, you're also becoming aware of who you are. So you're like figuring out yourself too by not trying to hide any parts of you. Because I feel like growing up, that's a part of like what we do. We learn to hide parts of ourselves, that some parts are not accepted, and we shouldn't be this way if we're not as everyone else. So I know I really love that you mentioned that. That's a
Yeah.
great one. Thank you.
I would say that even like knowing yourself or accepting yourself, being you, it's like you just need to try, I think, this, you know, accepting yourself or being you fully, trusting your instincts, your gut. Is that it's real power sometimes. Like you will feel like, oh wow, it's really
Mm,
powerful. Yes,
yeah.
I'm not perfect, but wow, that's me. You know, it's
Yeah.
so powerful. And I think it's just you can feel it in a person when you look at the person. Wow, they're really like they're being really themselves.
Mm,
Yes, you know, there are weird, quirky stuff that they do and say,
yeah.
you know, but they're so themselves. You
Mm,
just like, wow, you're blown away. And you like think, wow, I also would be could I be that brave to be like them? Like, I mean, in terms of could I be myself like them,
Mm,
you know, that they are fully showing themselves, could I be that way? And I think it adds so much power, but even like
mm,
by a little bit accepting yourself and being you fully.
mm. Yeah, that's so cool. The thing is that we learn so much from kids. They are like really big. They're like our teachers sometimes. But since you're a teacher too, I'm guessing you have a lot of control over, not control, but like you can shape the kids that are in your class, that you are teaching. Um, what is your thoughts about that? About like shaping kids as teachers?
This is good question. So I was working with these young kids. They were, first of all, I do teach English and I do teach chess to kids.
Mm,
I don't spend that with them the whole day. I spend the, the morning and the afternoon.
mm,
And if I am teaching the class, if I'm staying with them about 4 to 5 hours per day, I've noticed a very interesting thing that whatever you do, the way you do it, the way you say it, one day you see them pick that up and you're like, wow, that's actually me.
yeah.
So that's so interesting to observe how they pick up the things you do. You might,
Mm,
you can say whatever, you should do that, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. They just look at you and think, and what? You said that, and do you think, I'm gonna follow? No, it doesn't work to them that way. And what works is like they see your actions, what you do. It's so interesting. You don't say anything, you basically do. But if you
mm,
do and you make fun of it and you're like, have some kind of actions, you do something like really healthy, you teach them something really healthy and you do make fun out of it, they really catch it up and they
yeah.
really start to, enjoy the process.
Yeah.
So as a teacher, you do shape them, but I do believe it's if they want to pick it up. And the more fun you present to them, the more they want to pick it up. If it's
Mm,
boring, if it's terrible, if it's like, yelling and screaming, it doesn't work. It makes them scared. It makes them
mm,
less confident,
yeah.
definitely. And I think if you bring fun, if you make it fun, if you show
Mm,
actions more and more kindness, more love, then they
yeah.
absolutely will pick up something out of it.
Mm,
I don't know why they pick up certain things and what not the others. I can't explain that, but I do believe there is going to be part of you living in them,
mm,
and they grow
yeah.
up.
Yeah. That's really cool because like you said, I've noticed that as well. For like if we take this example that some kids eat all different kinds of vegetables and some kids they don't eat them at all. And I think that has a lot to do with what you said, that if you introduce it in a fun way during like their life when they grow up, if you like make like colorful plates or something like that that makes them interested, that makes them want to try it by themselves, not you forcing them, you should eat this or eat this now or make sure you eat this first and then you can have your dessert, but it's like kind of like a punishment, then they will not learn how to like it. But if you do introduce it, especially when they're like super young, and they don't know what any of the foods are, it's like it's crazy how some kids just grow up and they love everything, they eat everything, and then other kids they grow up and the only thing they want to eat is chicken nuggets and french fries, because they haven't been introduced to other kind of foods that would be beneficial for them growing up and that could also shape their mindset into thinking that this is fun food, this is also good food and interesting food. Then I understand there are like exceptions because some kids grew up with some there's some kind of like eating disorders and like stress disorders that they can grow up with. And of course that is a different like case. But yeah, I really like that you highlighted that because we do shape them, but they choose also what they pick up on and they usually pick up on the stuff that seems fun, interesting, that is cool for them.
Absolutely. It's very interesting what you mentioned is that there are two things that come to my mind.
Mm.
First of all, when you make it fun, it like first I didn't understand that you have to make it fun
Yeah.
because I noticed they pay attention to your emotions.
Mm.
Well, you cannot be just blank face.
Yeah.
You know, so I was totally like, you know, not very emotional person. I couldn't show with my face emotions, whatever. But because of kids, I learned this body language, you know, the volume, the modality of the voice, tonality, basically all the
Mm.
public speaking things that I am
Yeah.
using now. It's very interesting connecting those dots. So it's one thing.
Mm.
It's like if you want to make it fun, you have to use body language. You have to use different volumes of your voice. You play with it, you know, emotions, feelings, everything. Like you have to use everything that used on a stage, on a public speaking, on a marketing. You use everything for them to sell that, you know, sort
Yeah.
of. And the
Exactly.
second thing is you have said about vegetables, you know, make it fun, right? Because if you're gonna say, hey, it's good,
Mm.
well, for me, it's not, right? The kid will say. But the thing is, like, I'm myself vegan. So, and I was like, guys, if you're going to behave great, we're going to make some great ice cream. We're going to make some, you know, cookies. And I would bring, like, you know, blender, you know, my own oven, and we will make food together. You have no idea how much they were happy doing it. And they didn't even know perhaps that it's vegan, you know. I
Mm.
just said to them, and they were having so much fun because like they were trying to do that and it
Yeah.
was yummy, man. It was yummy. They were like, wow, I want that ice cream. And that ice cream, you know what it's made of? It was like frozen bananas, strawberries, that's it, dates,
Mm.
that's it.
Yeah.
And they loved it. They said, Cami,
Yeah.
I want more. And it was
Mm.
ice cream. You don't need to like, you know, go like kind of fast food, whatever.
Mm.
No, it was simple ice cream and they loved it.
Yeah.
So
I
as you
love it too,
said,
to be honest. It's so yummy. Like you can just make a super easy, healthy ice cream. But you're so right. It's crazy. It really depends on how you present it for them. And if you make it like a fun activity, it's the same with like kids that actually enjoy helping out at home with like, I don't know, vacuuming, fixing dishes, all of those stuff. It depends on if it's been like something forced or if it's been like a fun task we do together as a family or something like that. So it's really like you say, it's like how you present it to them really
absolutely,
matters.
absolutely. You mentioned about like helping out at home, right?
Mm.
It's so interesting. There are kids that super active, right?
Mm.
There are super active, hyperactive kids. And sometimes I think as parents and teachers, they don't know what to do with them. But I think it's really great. I tried something. I was like, let me give them some extra tasks of helping me. So
Yeah.
they think that they help me a lot by doing stuff, and they do help me. They are like
Mm.
super helpers, you know, they help me, you know, with, you know, bring up the toys, maybe flashcards, but they're always busy. Those busy, these hyper kids, you know,
Yeah.
hyperactive.
Mm.
And, you know, you basically could they could basically be willing to help you out as at home, as in your class, or even like, you know, if they go to sports, they would be very great. So I think that
Yeah.
instead of thinking of, oh my God, it's a trouble kid, we could try to think, okay, how could I use that trouble, which is
Yeah.
actually not at all. How could
Mm.
I use his own magic to like
Yeah.
apply it somewhere that they could be like using it in a right way rather than just like, oh my God, you know,
Yeah.
give him phone or, you know, yes, I cannot deal with him. Find a different approach. Mm.
Exactly. Utilizing their strengths and their like kids with ADHD, their strength could be their like energy, their immense energy that wants to do stuff. It's like hyperactive. It's I understand that if you as a parent, like if a parent doesn't get the right info as well, how could they know if they are not like if they don't know how to like handle a kid with for example ADHD, it's super hard for them to do the right thing. Maybe they think that the phone is the only thing that calms them down, the phone is the only thing that makes them sit down, sit still, but it is really like knowing how to utilize that strength that they have and not see it, like you said, as a weakness. Because I think that the kid will feel that too, that it's a weakness, that they're being annoying, that they bring being a trouble for the family. Yeah.
This is so true about them. You said that they feel the weakness.
Mm,
Kids feel everything. Like I have tried so many stuff. It's so crazy. It's like if you want to know what's going on in your mind, you have to, talk to a kid or in front of many kids, and they're going to behave exactly the same as what is going on in your mind. Let's
mm,
say you come, you did your morning routine, you feel clear, blah, 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 all this stuff, and you're having class, and the kids are really actually, like they are feeling your energy, and they're like, okay, we're trying to get focused. Yes, their attention is short if they are young, but nevertheless, they're trying. But if,
mm,
let's say, in your mind, it's like mess, you're like, I don't know,
mm,
they right away feel that. It's like they
mm,
feel everything. If you're like, you can do it, you can do it. They're like, oh, yeah, I can. But if you're
yeah,
like, no, they're like,
yeah,
it's absolutely important, I think, especially if it's your own kid,
mm,
to make sure that you don't put on them some kind of labels, especially the negative ones. Because if you put, unfortunately, they feel it. And growing up with that label and getting out of it is so hard. Sometimes it takes years. And I
mm,
do believe if you have a kid, you must make sure that you are not putting on them negative labels. It's so important. And also as teachers too. Even if you had that in your mind, try to take it away and
mm,
find something in that kid that she's doing amazing. Yeah.
yeah. Wow. I got chills on my arms now. I love hearing you sharing this because like this is something that I believe that parents are and teachers are not doing it on purpose. Some just like it's just like maybe how we're wired to like to do that on a bad day or something, to call them out for something. Like it's very, very normal. And maybe a lot of like parents right now are watching this and they're feeling very hit by it and feel like I have done this. what what would you say, what can they do to like kind of reverse it, or to maybe start, like you said that they could start using like finding the strengths instead, but if they feel like right now that okay, I know that I've done this, what if I damage my kid, what would you say to them, like what could they do from now on?
If they said something and they put the label on the kid.
Yeah, if they feel like they have put a label on their kid or call them like, "Oh my god, you're so annoying for being this way," or just call them out for something, or like, "You're so needy," or something like that, and they feel like they've repeated it a couple of times, and maybe this has now like been like imprinted on their kid's brain. What would you as a
Mhm.
teacher say that they could do to reverse it, or to like get a clean slate from it, to make the kid not identify as needy or annoying?
It's a good question. I think if you look at the kid, sometimes you can feel that something is, for example, 3 years old kids, most of the time, they are very open, they're
Mm,
very playful. But there sometimes you notice that something is blocked. Like you can't explain it, or they are shy, or they're scared. It's like someone said on something to them that, and it takes time. It definitely gonna take time if that label was put. What you can do is, well, past is in the past. You can't change it. But
mm,
what you can do is try to open up the kid,
yeah.
you know. I think what really makes them open up, please make sure you hug them. Like let them feel that you love them, first of all. Maybe they don't want it. You try, it takes
Mm,
time. Make sure that you hug them, tell them that you love them, and spend time with them. Like really spend time, not just like, oh yeah, I'm around, I'm on the phone. Yes, they are playing. No, like try to
yeah.
take them out, play. You show, and you, for example, sometimes let's say you go to play, I don't know, football, right? Um, and they think, oh, I can't play. For some reason, someone put on them label, or they think they cannot play. you show that actually you also can, or you fell down on purpose, like make it fun. You're like, oh my God, like like you're like you can't get up, and the kid looks at you, like make fun of out of that situation, and kids start to laugh and forget that, oh, actually that was labeled. So
Mm.
it takes time. I notice working with young kids, I notice it takes time. You have to fall off the chair, sometimes. And they will look at you like, oh, really? You're trying to distract me? That's fine. You do another time. So this is the way you kind of get them pay attention and kind of disappear in in those labels. So try to make it fun no matter what. Tell them that you love them, hug them, and make sure that you make it fun. If they can't do something, show that you are actually also not great at it,
Mm.
or show that even if you do
Yeah.
it on purpose, that's fine. Show that you are also imperfect, but you're
Mm.
still kind of trying to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's really nice. That like to show them that even if we are adults, we're not perfect. Even if we are adults, we also make mistakes, and that's like it just because maybe you're not best at something doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Or just because you're not best at it right now doesn't mean you will never be best at it. So I think that it's a great thing, like showing them that like even if they think that, oh, I can't play football because my dad told me that I'm really bad at football, then like show them that, okay, but everyone learns at some point, and then just start building that up, building that confidence up, give them compliments around that area, give them show them that, did you see what you just did with that football? I can't even do that. That's amazing. Like try to really like praise them for it so they feel like they're getting better and they want to get better. That you kind of like lit the spark in them, and then when they feel like they are improving, they will want to improve even more. And then I think that's like a good way to start anyways.
Absolutely. And as you said, encouraging praising is very important. Like, for example, what I would do at the end of class in general, like they do something great, give me five. Like, and I would play not just like five, I would like make it fun. Like, they have to jump, like circle around the classroom, like that
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, I did it. Yes, kind of vibe, Sometimes I will lift them up, like in circle, and they like,
Mm.
and it's like you don't give them candies for that. They know
Yeah.
that, but what they're gonna get is like, you're gonna put them up and you're gonna, like shake them, whatever, or you give five. This kind of encouragement, giving them
Mm.
hugs at the end of the class, kissing them, telling that you love them. It's like they're like really like, oh,
Mm.
right away lift up, and encouragement, I think something that makes them believe in themselves. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that too. Like a lot of stuff can be healed by a kid feeling loved, by them feeling loved and appreciated, and for them feeling safe. I feel like you can heal everything. So really showing them that they're worthy of love and that they are great as they are, and all of that, like everything you mentioned, like it's so pure, and I know that kids respond to that. Like it really
Absolutely.
works. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why it's sometimes very painful to see like there are sometimes you can see kids who like you think that something is wrong. Like they cry a lot or they make tantrums, maybe they scream, but there is always a reason why they do that.
Mm.
You must pay attention how their parents or or the people who are living with them, spending time with them. Are they all the time on the phone? Are they always doing their business? Do they at least 1 hour spent with that kid? Because as a kid myself, and nowadays, like my friend came up to me. She has a kid, 7 years old in a primary school, and she said, she was just sharing, and she said, "Can you imagine, like, she want to suicide? 7 years old kid want to jump out of the window?" I asked, I was like, "Do you spend time with her?" She said, "Yeah, of course, every time, every time." I said, "Do you like, are you sure that you are actually with her, not on the phone?" And she was like, "Oh, I need to work on that." And but from outside, you couldn't say to a kid, like, the kid is very like, she's very like happy, very laughing. but you see what is going on inside. It's something like really sad that the kid is trying to take the attention of a parent through saying that, hey, you know, I'm going to jump.
Yeah. Yeah. It's usually not like in a mean way, but it's usually attention that they want. Not like they just want to be like, not that kind of attention, but just like presence and being heard and being seen. It's usually that's what they need. And if they feel like no one cares, no one loves me, all of that, then like, I don't know, but maybe it is not too early. Maybe 7 years is enough time to feel like you're not supposed to be there, that you don't, that you feel like you don't belong or something like that. And you kind of highlighted the importance of, because I've heard that a lot as well, that like from 0 to 2 years old is when the kids get like most shaped, and then up to like 7 years old is when, like, I don't know, 80% of their personality starts shaping. I don't know if it was their personality exactly, but it's kind of crazy, and realizing that their childhood is such a like important part of who they grow up to be. So we need to start being better and making the right decisions. And also, of course, not feel right now, if you have a 4 year old, like, and you feel like, oh, I'm always on my phone and this, of course, it's not too late. You can always like turn around, you can always improve. And that could also be an example of like showing your kid that, like, my mom just changed and became this like like this perfect human being. Like, that is also good for a kid. It's never too late, so it shouldn't be like pushing yourself down for it. But we all should be better. Me as a sibling should also be better. I could give a lot more than I'm already giving. Even though I'm giving a lot, I feel like I'm never giving enough, because kids are so precious, and like you want to give them everything you have. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just, you know, about you, as you said about your sister, let's say you already feel like you're giving enough, but it's just like about raising up the quality of what you're giving. Like basically do
Mhm.
the same, but the quality is better, maybe focus is
Yeah.
better, something like that. And I just want to say, like, as a kid myself, like I just figured it out that I was asking for attention, for love. The only way I could get that love, it's hearing that my mom would say, no, don't do that. It's like I will threaten that I will do that, but she will say, don't. And it was the way that I would get love. It was like these words meant love to me. And this is so sad that we must beg for love. Don't make your kid beg for your love, for your attention. They deserve it, and give it. Because how you treat them when they are kids, they're going to treat you the same way when they're going to grow up. So when they ask for attention, try to give it. At least,
Mm.
it doesn't mean that all the time, but make sure at least, you know, you give that time for presence.
Mm.
Make sure you tell them that you love them,
Yeah.
and absolutely speak up for them.
Mm.
Speak up for them when they need you the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I have two things about that, because first thing is the thing about speaking up for them. There's a lot of like parents that say that like when children doesn't want to like hug and kiss some relatives they not even like, they don't even know, and they feel very uncomfortable around. So a lot of parents say, yeah, it's like she's shy, and they put that stamp on that kid that you're shy. But that kid has like all the right to not want to kiss a stranger. Like if someone would have told me, oh, go and kiss that old man, he's your uncle, I would be like, well, I don't know him as my uncle, and I will not. So like, of course, kids especially, they are very true with their feelings. They don't want to do stuff that they don't feel is right inside. They have a very strong intuition. So just like forcing them to do something they don't want to do, and then if they don't want to do it, they're like shy, or they're acting weird, or something is wrong with them and not wrong with like the old man that wants a kiss or something. Like I think that that's something that's like worth highlighting too, like you say, like showing up for them, and like speaking up for them and saying like, no, 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 she's not shy, or he's not shy. They're just what do you call it, like like
Set
reserved
the
kind of.
boundaries.
Yeah,
They don't set
exactly.
the
Yeah.
boundaries, you know, like I don't want to do that. It's my boundary. They basically showing you the
Yeah,
boundary. Like
exactly.
give them time to trust. Like you cannot just like, you know, go to a first seller and say, oh, you know what, I trust your product. No,
Hmm.
it takes time to trust. Same
Yeah.
thing, you know, like they set the boundaries, respect that, and absolutely, like it takes time to trust. Do you trust the person right away?
Definitely not.
You know, so it takes time. The same thing for a kid. Let them
Mm.
see a few times that uncle, you know,
Mm.
let them do that. Let them play. Do they even
Yeah.
want to play with this kid? You know, do they spend
Yeah.
some time? Maybe they
Yeah.
don't care, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah, definitely. And I also love what you said about like how we treat our kids when they grow up is how they're going to treat us, because it's so true, because when they are kids, all they have is us. They like we are their world. And when we get old, we only have our kids. We don't have our parents anymore. We only have our kids. And when we can't take care of ourselves anymore, it's our kids that are probably going to step up and take care of us. And if we
So,
didn't take care of them, it's a very big chance they will not take care of us. And like,
so true.
yeah. So
So
it's
true.
really, I love that you said that, because it is so true. And I think that, of course, you should not do something. Okay, I'm gonna be like kind to my kid now so that they will take care of me when I'm old. Like, of course, that shouldn't be the intention, but it is such a like a true thing to have in mind that like they
Just
are gonna be.
remember,
Yeah.
just remember. This is so, like, you must remember that because it's like the way of nature balancing things, you know, nature always balancing you. It's like
Hmm.
yin and yang, black and white, you know, you born, you die, you know,
Hmm.
there is day, there is night, there is moon, there is
Yeah.
sun. The same thing with
Yeah.
a kid, you know. First, it's like you are the one who is like a boss, right? But later on in life, you gotta see, you know, who is gonna be there. So you're
Yeah.
gonna kind of watch out that.
Mm. Yeah. That is so, that is so fun. Yeah. So that's a good thing to be aware about, to like it's kind of belongs to the treat others how you would like to be treated yourself, and it's like that with kids. Definitely. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind as well when I get kids in the future. Okay, so drawing the focus away from like teaching to more like parenting, um I would love to hear, like, from a teacher's perspective. Okay, I'm leaving the question pretty open. Like, what is something that you, from a teacher's perspective, would like to like say or mention or just pinpoint something like that about parenting and how maybe it affects the kids, or how they show up in school or friendships or anything like that that you feel like could be necessary for someone else, a parent that maybe a new parent, they don't know exactly how to do it right, and something you've observed through your 7 years with kids.
Okay, first thing I want to say that I'm not parent myself. I'm just 20 years old. I've been working with kids 7 years. But I just want to say my perspective, my point of view from a perspective of a person who reflects and who observes how kids behave, what kind of parents they have, how the parents talk to them, how they communicate with them. I just try to observe and see the sequence and the patterns. And I
Mm.
just want to share with you what I've got. And I think there is a beautiful, amazing book that you can read on parenting. It's called What Happened to You. It's not like why you're doing this, but what happened to you that you do that. It's
Mm.
Oprah and
Mm.
Dr. Harry, I believe, wrote this book, What Happened to You. I think you can put it in link. I think it's beautiful book where you, for example, mentioned that the kids are shaped from 0 to 7 years old the most. So this is
Mm.
the most important time for them. This is
Yeah.
you have to watch out. If you have a chance before like having kid, I do believe from my perspective, try to work, try to spend some time with kids around them. Doesn't matter, is it your friends' kids? Is it you go to volunteer somewhere? I'm sorry, but even spending time with animals or having a pet, you're gonna see how you're gonna get angry, man. This
Yeah.
is so true because
Yeah.
the same thing it happens in the classroom, you know? So absolutely, just check it out. But if you already have a kid, something that I would say, of course, attention, love,
Yeah.
make them feel the love, make make sure you spend time without phone. Make sure that you spend quality time with them. It's basically the same thing as a relationship. It's basically the same thing as you want to be treated by your friend, by your partner. You want them to
Mm.
pay attention to you, right? Same thing for a kid. You want them to say that they love you. Same thing for a kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's so many things. And like so many times we want also our partner to speak up for us. But do
Mm.
they?
Mm.
Especially like speaking up for them, you know, protecting them, that they know that they can be safe with you. So also
Mm.
important. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I went to another direction with the question.
No, definitely. I left it really open because I wanted to hear what like comes to your mind when you hear that. Because if I would have like asked a specific question, you would have answered that specific. But I wanted to hear like in your mind where it goes, and it went to like being present and like being loving and being caring, like all of those things, which seem obvious. But if we reflect on our behaviors in relationships, sometimes some relationships, like you say, kids can be really frustrating sometimes. Same with animals, you can get super mad, but it's important to have those stuff in mind, that like all relationships has to have like a stable base. There needs to be love. It's the same with like parents relationships with kids, like you said, friendships, like partners, all of that, like everything you would like a partner to like do for you, that you would love them
Absolutely.
to love you, and to like you said, speak up for you, care for you. Kids, like
Yeah.
kids want that.
And one more thing is I noticed that plus one thing is that don't lie to them. Like don't lie.
Mm.
If you're gonna lie, they're gonna someday when they're gonna be like 16 and they're teenage age, they're gonna go somewhere. They're not gonna tell you where they go, they're gonna lie.
Mm.
So try, even if it's hard truth, you try to find a way how to say it, how to
Mm.
put it, but try not to lie.
Yeah.
It's very important, I believe. Try to work on it, not just say a lie. Um,
Mm. Yeah. Do you believe that kids can feel if you're lying?
it can feel everything. It's like a vibration. It's like they are working in an energy level on the vibrations. It's something like I think again we're gonna go not that everybody believes in it. It's like energy. Energy
Mm.
is a vibration. It's how you feel, you
Mm.
know, frequency. They are living on the frequency level, especially when they are, I believe, before they're 6, 7. So someone can hold it longer because they're still like keeping their child like inside them. But in general, it's
Yeah.
like
Mm.
that.
Yeah. No, it's for real. And I think even like very intuitive, um, like adults can also know if you're lying, even though we get better at lying growing up. It gets easier for some people, especially when they've done it and they like realize that maybe it's working to their benefit. But some people, very intuitive ones, can figure out if you're lying or not. And I, like you say,
At least
kids are
believe
the
your
most.
lie, you know. If you're lying a white lie, at least believe it, you know. You know,
Do
if
you,
it's a white lie, believe it.
would
You
you
know,
say that lies about Christmas gifts and stuff is okay? Would you say that those kind of lies are like kind of like they are okay because they're not damaging the kid? They are meant for like their own surprise later on?
okay. It's something that I'm gonna say most people must maybe not agree. It's up to you. You do whatever you like, whatever you believe in. But I was observing how, you know, the school works, how the kindergarten works. It's very interesting to observe.
Mm.
There are sometimes simulations happen. Let's say there's a fire in a building, you know, like, and every teacher knows that. And I was like,
Mm.
everybody knows that, but the kids kind of don't know. and they're really scared, but we know that what's going on. So we kind of like smile at what's going on, you know? So we get
Mm.
out of that building, you know, and do the simulation. And I was observing it, it's same thing happens to adults. Like whatever happens in our life nowadays, do you think that everything that happens is actually truth? Or it's a simulation or whatever happens? Like you got to watch out really careful to understand if it's true, if it's
Mm.
actually, if it's actually faked by certain people, or is it actually true? It's very interesting to observe to kids how they react to that and how adults react to any situation. Like
Mm.
past years, I think you can notice many things have happened and you can see how people react, and you can, you know, it's very interesting. So it's one thing about the Christmas, up to you. Would I say to my kid that there is a, I would more, I think, focus on that they should believe in themselves, you know, something
Mm.
that empowers them, something that empowers them rather than someone gives them presents, more like empowering, you know, something that,
Mm.
you know, they can achieve whatever they want. Is it universe? Is it God? I don't know, whatever you believe in, something
Mm.
like that.
Yeah.
About Christmas, up to you, up to you.
Yeah.
I don't think it depends a lot, but it's kind of for me in general, realizing that there was no Santa, it was kind of
Mm.
painful. It was so hurtful. I was like, how dare you lie? So to me, it was like very painful. Why did you lie
Yeah.
to me? So
Yeah.
everything was broken.
Heartbreaking.
I'm sure all these presents, you know, I forgot
Yeah.
everything, and it become
Yeah.
very. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think you should be very careful with that and take
Mm.
responsibility of your actions. If you said them, like take responsibility fully and say why you did that. Like explain
Mm.
to them. Don't be just like, you know, just for
Yeah.
fun. You know, no.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. Yeah, I have like I think open communication with a kid too. I think that's really important to be able to explain to them that like this is not something mean or something the parent did to like hurt the kid. Because I think that our intentions towards our kids are also very important that we make it clear to them too. Because I realized this doesn't have to do anything with Christmas, but like sometimes I'm stressed and I can um like be more agitated or something, and then like my sister can think that she did something wrong, and it's super important for me in that scenario to like take her and say to her, I'm stressed, it's like it does not have to do with you and you have done nothing wrong, and like really have this open communication with kids because they are so smart. And the next time when I was distressed, she recognized that. She came and hugged me instead because she recognized that, like, okay, now something was going on, and that she didn't blame herself because I didn't make her feel like she was the problem. And it was just very cool to see that she could now realize that pattern, like that, like reaction in me. And instead of them being like, instead of her being like, I don't know, demanding something from me. She gave me love because she know that that really centered me, made me present. So yeah, I just wanted to add that as well. Like very like open communication with kids, I've learned is like super important because they are so smart and they listen, and like they I feel like it opens up like kind of like emotional intelligence for them if we speak of our emotions too and show them that we have emotions too, like stuff is going on with us as well. We're not these perfect human beings, perfect parents, perfect siblings that have nothing wrong or anything like that. I don't want to set myself as an example of being like God or perfect or something like that because I'm not. Definitely not.
It's very interesting because kids gonna challenge you no matter what. They're gonna challenge if you're gonna show your white side only. Believe me, they're gonna make you show your dark side because they're gonna be, oh really? You're so nice. Let's
Hmm.
check it out. Like they wanna like show me your dark side. Like, come on, you know? Like they will be curious. It's like their nature to challenge you. You know, they will challenge you in a different ways. And
Mm.
I think rather than being like, oh, you better like, okay, that's a challenge.
Mm.
Let's see what I can learn about myself. Like
Mhm.
reflect on it and try to learn from it because so much time I wasted almost like I was like, oh, you know, this, that, whatever. But when you start to reflect and you start to use a different approach, to that,
Mhm.
it's like helps out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Challenge you, what they want to show to you of
Mm.
you yourself that you don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly. Every relationship in your life teaches something about yourself, not
Absolutely.
about others. Of course, you learn about others, but it teaches something about yourself. It can trigger stuff inside of you that you didn't even know existed. And I feel like the biggest relationships that does that is probably like, siblings, kids, partners. Partners can trigger
Absolutely.
like wounds that you didn't even know existed, and you're like, what is this coming from? I never thought I would be this way. I always walked around saying, oh, when I'm in a relationship, I will be like that. And then you're like, what is going on? Why am I acting like this? So like it's really cool. You really learn about yourself in like every relationship in your life. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, I like that what you said.
Different spectrums, as you said, like you were thinking, or this is like, I know this all 7 colors, 8 colors, I don't know how many there are,
Hmm.
right? But you're like, oh, there are more than that. Like you're gonna see
Hmm.
like different spectrums of blue, different spectrums of white, even,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
wow, wow, wow.
Hmm.
So I think it's always was part of you. You just didn't kind of looked at it. So
Exactly.
just kind of, that's okay. It's a process of life and journey. I think what I'm teaching myself is try to take it calmly. That's okay,
Mm.
even if you found out some kind of weird stuff about yourself. Well, it is
Mm.
how it is. This is who you are. Try to deal with it now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this little flashlight, someone is coming and just like pointing the flashlight at that dark spot in your like in your soul or something, and you're like,
And
no,
you're
no,
like,
no, hide it, I don't want to bring it up. Yeah.
and they take a photo of that part of you, and they're like, and you're like,
Keep
oh.
triggering, yeah, keep triggering. You're like, no, 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 and then eventually it comes up anyways. You can't hide for so long. So yeah, it's yeah, it's I like that.
Yeah, it's like,
Really cool.
the way we were born naked, the same thing. You like, you show up and all your scars, kind of wounds and all this, you like, oh, feel uncomfortable because you want to cover it all, like with something that you get used to it. So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of get used to our natural state that we are, we're born. So it's something like,
Mm.
again,
Yeah.
similar to nature.
Yeah. Wow, Kemi, I enjoyed this conversation so much, and I love learning from you, especially like about stuff that I'm not like that I don't have perspective of, like teaching when it comes to kids. I think it's so important, and I love the insight you had to come with because I feel like it helps everyone. It helps siblings, it helps dads, it helps moms, it helps grandparents too. Like everything you said is something that everyone can pick stuff from and learn from. So thank you so 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 much for sharing all of your wisdom today. I know there's a lot more wisdom to come from you, but like that was it for now. But yeah, I'm so grateful for your time. I really appreciate you showing up here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate your time too, and thank you for asking great questions. It was very interesting because with some stuff you like, you kind of keep it to yourself, or you just write it down, jot it down on a notebook and share
Mm.
sometimes. But like saying it out loud, hearing it, you're like, okay, wow, that's great. Or like, okay, on this one we need to work on. So it's very great to hear yourself out, to share ideas. It was very wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed too. Thank you for all wonderful questions. And yeah, looking forward for more sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love to host you again because I would love to talk about all the other stuff that we have to talk about too. But for now, this was great, and I hope to see your face here soon again. Thank you
Sure,
so, so, so
excellent.
much, Kemi. Bye
Thank you.
bye.